Today I'm going to share with you how I create an anti-theft profile in Tasker. From the beginning I want to say that no matter how many profiles you have on your Tasker and how careful you are, if the thief is smart enough, he can go around them. So this is like a disclaimer. You should look at this activity like a hobby, like something that you enjoy doing, like exploring, but not like something to really trust your phone to. Don't create many profiles and then purposefully leave it on the train. You might never find it again. That's what I'm saying. So I assume that you have Tasker installed on your device and you have rooted your device. Root is going to be needed in these profiles. I also assume that you have a basic understanding on how Tasker works. You understand what's a profile, what's a task, what's a variable, at least these. For the beginning, we're going to create a number of tasks that we are going to use in other tasks, and they will come in handy. First one is going to be airplane mode on. Back in the old days, we used to use a plugin for this purpose. We used secure settings. It's still possible to use it in Marshmallow, but it's not as reliable as it used to be. Today we are just going to add a code, a shell command. Just type this code and make sure you check use root here. This is very important. Also, we are going to add an if condition. Only run this command, only activate the airplane mode if the airplane mode is not running. So if, and I press this little icon here, which gives me a lot of variables, built-in variables, and I press airplane mode status. If airplane mode status is off, if airplane mode status is off, then run this command here. This is how it looks like. The airplane mode on task is ready. Now we are going to add another one, the opposite one. And we are going to add basically the same code for disabling the airplane mode, except instead of 1 we are going to have 0, and instead of true we are going to have false. Done. Use root and add an if condition if airplane mode status is on. So only disable the airplane mode when it's on, otherwise don't do anything. Otherwise it's red and the task will not run when it's red. Good. The next one is going to be about mobile data. We're going to add a task called data on. In this case it's going to be a little bit more complex to see if mobile data is already on or not yet. We're going to need an action called testnet here. We are going to select mobile data enabled and store the result into a variable which you can call however you want. I call it data. This variable can be either no or yes. So now we are going to activate mobile data. I chose the action called mobile data, we are setting mobile data on only if, let's choose mdata, the new variable that we've set before, if mdata is no. If it's yes, if mobile data is already on, we don't want to spend time activating it again. And we are going to copy this, to clone this task, call it off, we are still going to store mdata, and here we are going to set it off if mobile data is yes, is on. The next generic task that we are going to add is GPS on. For this task, we're going to use a code first to get the value of the GPS. Just write this code, use root, and store the output into a variable that you can call again however you want, as long as you find it later. I call it like this, it's going to be easier to find for me. And now we are going to activate GPS. Plus GPS. When we get the value of GPS, we write here get. When we put a new value, we write here put, and we add a plus GPS here. We use root, and we do this if location providers allowed contains GPS. It has more text than just GPS. So we write asterisk GPS asterisk. Location providers allowed might be something like network comma GPS. But as long as GPS is present there, this value is going to work. For turning off GPS, we are going to clone this task and call it GPS off. And here we're going to inverse. Everything. So if it's a plus here, we put a minus. And if here is if here this variable matches GPS, here it shouldn't match, doesn't match. Very good. Now we are ready to add a new tab called anti-theft. All our anti-theft projects will be stored on this tab. I'm going to set a new icon. This will be good. The first task I'm going to make is going to be locate. want to be able to locate the phone. So obviously the first task that will run here is going to be a task, perform task, and here I'm going to choose with this loop, I'm going to choose GPS on. It's as simple as that. So now the first thing that locate task will do is going to turn on GPS. And now I remember that GPS on is doing these things. It's getting the value of location providers allowed, and if this value contains GPS, then it turns GPS on. It's good to look back sometimes. I've made an error here. It shouldn't match GPS. When it doesn't match GPS, I want it to turn on GPS. And let's see the other one. Yeah, that's what I thought. And here it should match the GPS. When it matches GPS, then I want it to turn off GPS. Whew. So now we are back to locate. The next things we are going to do, we are going to add the task airplane mode off, just in case there are going to be some profiles that will use locate task that are going to need the airplane mode off. And the next one, we are going to enable the Wi-Fi on, and we are going to do that only if Wi-Fi is off. So if Wi-Fi is off, then enable Wi-Fi. The next one, we are going to add and data on, mobile data on. You remember when we did this task. The next one, we go to location, get location. We leave everything as default. We may put here any source, and this is the main action in this task, locate. Once we already get the location, we may turn off the GPS. So task, perform task, GPS off. And we may also turn off the Wi-Fi if the Wi-Fi is not connected. So if the Wi-Fi managed to connect to a Wi-Fi network, then we want it to remain on. Otherwise, we want it to turn off. So Wi-Fi off if, and here we are going to use Wi-Fi info. And Wi-Fi info should contain connection. If it contains the word connection, it means it's successfully connected to a Wi-Fi network. If it doesn't, it means it's not connected, and we don't want it to keep the Wi-Fi on, so we want it turned off. Okay, the task locate is ready. Now we create another task called take pictures. And here is a detail about Tasker. It can take pictures in a discrete mode, and it won't show you that it's taking pictures, but it will vibrate. The phone will vibrate. So in order to avoid that, I'm going to make this a little bit more complex. I'm going to set the interrupt mode to none, take the pictures, it won't vibrate because the silent mode will be on, and then I will revert the interrupt mode to whatever its value was before the task began. So first I'm going to memorize the value of the interrupt variable into a new variable. I create a variable called interrupt, and I set it to get the value of interrupt mode, which is the same with capital letters. Next, I'm going to use a do not disturb action in audio. Do not disturb to none. None is good. This is going to need Tasker to have access to notifications. So if it asks you to grant this right to see notifications, grant it. Next we're going to take some photos. In media, press take photo. First we're going to take a front picture. I'm going to call it last front. That's good enough. Naming sequence none. I don't want it to be inserted into a gallery, and I want it to be discrete. This resolution looks quite small. I'm going to choose something a little bit bigger, and I leave everything else as is. And I take another photo with the rear camera. Take photo with the rear camera, and I call it last rear. I don't insert it into a gallery, and I take it in discrete mode. I choose a bigger resolution, and done. And now we are going to revert the interrupt mode to whatever its value was before we changed it. So here we stored its value, and then we changed it, and now we change it back to whatever it was here. So if interrupt was set to all, then I set the do not disturb to all, and then task stop, and then I do nothing. I stop here. Else if interrupt was priority, I set the do not disturb to priority, and then stop, task stop. Again, else if interrupt was set to none, then I set the do not disturb to none and stop. And finally, else if interrupt was set to, how do they call them, alarms, then set do not disturb to alarms. And I don't need a stop action here because it's the last one anyway, so I just put an and if. Done. We are done with this long if. And we are done with take pictures. Now we're ready to make our very first, very cool anti-theft profile. We were in tasks, now we go to profiles. This profile is going to show the person who holds the phone a menu where he can choose whether to call me back or to ignore my request. This is going to be triggered by a message. So I see that my phone is missing. I think that it might have been stolen. I ask whoever was around me, please give me your phone, I want to send a text to someone. I send a text with a message that I know, and my phone, which might be in the hands of a thief or might be in the hands of someone who found the phone, he starts to ring a melody. I'll show you the melody. It's a police car sound, only much louder, and the phone shows a menu, and the person can either ignore my request to call me or call me, and he will call the number that is associated with the last message that the phone has received, which is the number of the person that gave me the phone. So I can talk with the person that has my phone. After that, the profile locates the phone using GPS and takes some pictures and sends all this data through email to my email address, as well as it sends some of that data in a message to the phone that that person gave me. In order to send the email, you have to use a plugin, and I'll show you the plugin in a moment. It's not a free one, it's paid, but it's not very expensive. I don't remember how expensive it was. It was something like $1 or $2 or $3 or something like that. If you are not ready to pay for it, you may still create the profile and use only the SMS action, but you won't be able to send the email. So we are going to trigger the profile with a message, with an SMS. We create a profile triggered by an event. Phone receives text, any type of message from any sender that has the content, let's say tasker find. No, let's say tasker call, because we want them to call us back. And we're going to create a new task called call owner menu, because it's going to present a menu. First, it's going to locate task, perform task. You remember we did the task called locate. Then we want it to play the music. We set the volume, the media volume, to 15, to the maximum, and then we play the music. We go to media, music play, and we choose the file, whatever file you want, whatever melody you want, and we use loop so that when the melody stops, it starts again, and that's it. And then we create the actual menu, which is an alert menu. We call it call me, and we don't develop it too much now. We just leave it show over keyguard marked because we want it to show even if the lock screen is on, which is obviously the most natural situation when it's going to show. We don't add items just yet. We are going to first... Oh, I have to add an item. Okay. We are going to first create two separate tasks for two items in this menu. So we go to tasks and we create the task called ignore button. Here the first thing that's urgent, it's the music. You remember that music with the police sound? We have to stop it. So if the person presses the ignore button, the music is going to stop. Media, music stop. The next thing, right in that moment, when the user is with the phone still in his hands, we want to take some pictures. So we use the task, perform task, take pictures. Okay. And the next thing, we want to send an SMS to the number that I used to send the SMS from. So, phone, send SMS to, and there's a variable called SMS RF, which you can find here in text from, that's it. So here you can use the space to write your message. The holder of whatever your device is ignored the request to call you. Location, and we have this location stored in the variable called lock, and if we add it to Google Maps, it looks like this. You write this link and then you add lock. This is going to add the coordinates of your phone in a link to Google Maps. You are going to see, to press this link and see the location of the phone on the map. You may also add details like battery, and Wi-Fi info. You remember we used this variable, yeah, with double E. Well, I think that's good enough. Now, if you don't have the plugin that I told you about, you stop here. Otherwise, we move on to send the email. So we go to plugin, we choose local send silent mail plugin, and now you press this pencil here to edit. I'm using a Gmail account, so I'll use this SMTP host. I'll need authentication. In the subject, I write current holder of dev mode ignored your request to call you. In the mail text, I write location on. I need the date and the time. At. These are built-in variables into Tasker. And I write the link from above. Okay. now I'm going to send this as an HTML mail so that it sees all these variables and everything. I press enter and I start a new line. There's an accuracy variable called locAcc. It shows me how wrong can the location be. In meters. Next I want to write the battery level. And the Wi-Fi info, whether it's connected to something or not. Okay, now I want to send a test email to see if it's working. Okay, email was sent successfully, that's great, it means everything was set well. In case it doesn't work, you may try to enable login in Gmail for less secure apps. Google how to do that. That's what worked for me. I saw some people commenting that it's not actually really necessary. You can use an API for this app, but I didn't go into that. If you are interested, you feel free to do that. Now that I know it's working, I'm going to add as an attachment to this email those two pictures that I took. Select file via file browser, and I go to GCIM, Tasker. Oh, I have no pictures yet. I've never run the take pictures profile. So I go to the task take pictures, and I run it once. Okay, it has done it. Now I go back to my task, ignore button, send silent mail, the pencil, add an attachment, select file via file browser, DCIM, Tasker, and here they are. First I'm interested in the front picture, and then another one, the last rear picture. Okay, it's done. The first button, which is ignore button, is done. Now we create the task for the second button, and we call it color button. Again, remember, the urgent thing is to stop that crazy music. So we add media music stop. When the person presses this button, he expects the music to stop, and we grant him this privilege. Next, we take some pictures. Task, perform task, take pictures. And next, since he chose to call the owner, we add a call action. Phone, call. We choose auto dial, and we choose a variable, the variable text from. After that, oh, actually I'll just copy these last two actions from here, copy them here. Move this one here. Nope, nope, not here. Here. to move an action, you just grab it by its sign here or on this side of the screen and move it wherever you want. Okay, here I'm going to modify. He didn't ignore, but chose to call me. Okay, and here I modify the same. Chose to call you. Okay, these two tasks are ready to be integrated in the menu. You remember we created a menu and then we created two buttons, ignore button and call owner button, and now we have to integrate them into this menu. So we go to the menu, we have the title call me, which is going to be this one here. This is the layout. This is how it's going to look like. Then let's set this one to never. We added a first item, and we are going to set the task ignore button. So the first item in the menu is going to perform a task, which is ignore button. The second item, again, is going to perform a task, which is call owner button. Let's change the icons for this. Ignore. This one looks like it. And something to call. We need a phone. This one looks good. Okay, let's see how it looks like. Ignore button, call owner. Let's change this text here. I hope it's going to work. Yep. Okay. Let's recap what we expect this profile to accomplish. So whenever I receive a text from anybody, a text that contains tasker call, the profile will be triggered. And it will locate the phone. It will change the media volume level to 15, which is maximum. It will play the crazy police car sound, and then it will show a menu. The menu will say call me, and then it will have two buttons. One will be ignore and another one will be call. If the person chooses to ignore, the music will stop, the phone will silently take a few pictures, it will send an SMS with the location and the battery and some other stuff to me, and it will send an email with the location, battery, Wi-Fi info and the pictures to my email. If the person chooses to call the owner, then the music will stop. It will still take a few pictures just in case, to be sure. It will automatically call the last person who sent a message to this phone, which is me, and when the call is done, the phone will automatically send an SMS to me and an email with all the data that I told it to. And now it's time to check if the profile is working properly. I will close the screen and I'll send a text to this phone from another phone containing the text tasker call. Now I received a text called tasker call. I'm still on the lock screen. I see something is happening. I see the location icon here. Let's say I choose to call. It takes pictures and now it calls. Okay, everything is working perfectly. And I received the email with all the details. Let's just check this email. I receive a text that the current holder of OnePlus chose to call you. This is the location on this date, on this time. Oops, the location didn't work. The location accuracy didn't work, but the battery level worked. The Wi-Fi info worked. Here are the pictures. Okay, and something is wrong with the location and the location accuracy. Okay, so I did the test again, and I don't know, this time it worked. So I don't know what the error was the first time, maybe because it was the first time, but it worked. So it shows me a link to Google Maps and an accuracy of 8 meters. So if I press the link, it shows my location, which is actually my home. Okay, this is the first video of this kind that I posted on YouTube, and please don't judge me too harsh. If I see some serious feedback, I might get into the habit of doing this kind of videos. So if this video helped you, please like, subscribe and comment so that I would be encouraged to make more videos like this. Thank you!